G'day guys, Dos here. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of modification to the old Hilux. We're going to be painting the interior, make it look a little bit less workmate, mine spec, whatever you want to call it. Just try and dress it up a little bit. So I've been to my local auto parts store, bought a shitload of these. So just fabric and vinyl paint. You know, this is the Jubilee Colour brand one. This is what's been recommended to me by my mate Isaac, who I was working with for a while. Oops. And he's done his and it's turned out a treat, so we're going to try and replicate that. I'll throw up some photos of his, and I'm going to go out and try and rip all the crap out of my car, and we're going to give it a big clean. Righto boys and girls, so what we're going to want to do is wipe down the car as much as we can inside with a bit of this. Just your old wax and grease remover, any one will do. So we're going to give it a good wipe over, and we're going to go ahead and strip out as many parts as we can and paint them outside the car. That way we don't have to worry about overspraying things. But stuff like this filthy hood lining, that's going to have to get done in here. So you're either going to want to bag your seats up, put cheap seat covers on them. Anything that we can't take out, like the windscreen, we're just going to tape up and hopefully get as little paint on that as possible. But we'll see how we go. Should be able to get it off glass with a bit of thinners or something anyway, so you don't have to be too careful, but don't make more work for yourself. As you can see here, this thing's had a bloody hard life. 300,000 Ks on the clock. Probably most of them at the coal mine it was at, and it's certainly done a little bit of beach work since then, looking at the interior of it. But, you know, it's probably still better value than a 79. At least I got cup holders, I guess. Check this out. From people rubbing their elbow on here, probably from when it was a mine car, it's actually worn the texture off. There's a smooth line there straight along the edge. She's definitely seen some use. And this too. I'll have to have a go at fixing that up in a sec. Righto, let's get this bad boy out. Oh, look at that filth. Ah, yuck. It's just what you want. Oh, look at that. The old minute. Right, what's next? This bit. Oops. Am I supposed to come off first? Must do. Oh, there's a screw there. Don't forget this one. And then take the wires off, I guess. Get that holy shit handle off. We'll get that one off too. Take that other vent and what's left of that cup holder out. And yeah, let's probably just tape everything else up that's in the dash. I don't know if I could be bothered taking anything else out. Just tape up this stuff here. Tape this up, even though it's a bit crap. Tape up the gauges, any of these switches, tape up the indicator stalks. And you could pull all that off if you wanted, but sounds like too much work. There we go. This was Bluetooth until I cut it off with the grinder when I was prepping for the new windscreen. Check that out. That is sand. That air vent is actually full of sand. That's not what you want. Right, if you check this out, you can see, where is it here? That's where there's been a UHF mounted. They've just screwed it straight into the dash. Fair enough. But it's left these high bits here. I could fill them in, but at a minimum what I'm going to do is file them off flat. That way when we paint over them, they don't really stand out. Alright, I just popped that out to clean them up. Just pulls straight out with a switch missing. It makes it easy to get your fingers in. I've not come up too bad at all. So I'll give that a wipe down and we'll start taping. That's tight. Hey. Alright, side panel should just lift up and off. Oops. Righto, that's what you're left with. It's a big ass fuse, I don't know what that's for. Alright. So So I want to get this right out because I don't really want to paint the vinyl floor. Just the center console. So it looks like it's just a few screws here. There should be some in the bottom of here, but mine aren't in there, so looks like it's just those two. And maybe a couple up here as well. Alright, there. So we'll bust them out and we'll give it a look. Right. There's never a bloody 10, is there? Hold on. Hey, still on the ratchet. So that's what they are, they're 10s. I suspect nearly everything in this will be 10 being Japanese, so just like a Yamaha, everything's 10s. Righto, let's bust this out. Righto, we'll see if that's it. Look at that. Straight out, straight into the back seat. Alright, that's nice and clean. I know I keep saying it, but I might actually tape the dash up this time. Well, I don't think there's much more to pull out on this, so we'll go ahead and we'll give her a tape up. Okay, I lied, I'm pulling more bits out. Oh, come on. Get out. Get out. Oh, there's a screw in it. Look, a little plastic screw there. So, meh. It'll just pop out. Reforce it. Maybe it won't. Oh, it's pretty long. Hey. Into the back. That makes that easy to tape up. And clean. Might try this one too. I don't know what most of this does. I know it's spotlights. I know this is probably shit. And power heat. I don't know. Let me know. What's that do? Who knows? Not me. But easy popping them out and taping them up. Right. So something like this. You just disconnect the wires out of the back of the plug. That way you can take the whole panel out. And then you turn it around. And you squeeze in on these two little tabs here. And then that'll come out the front. And you can either paint the switch panel out or put it back in and spray it all together. Your call. I'll probably... Right, this is where we're at now. Tape the gauges up. We don't want them getting painted. Taped up the CD player and this crap down here for the lights in the climate control. I ended up just taping up the clock panel because I couldn't have been bothered taping it up. It was too difficult. I had to go. I gave up. I'm pretty confident I can control the spray not to paint any of the vinyl floor down here. I do want this kick panel painted though. So we're going to pop it off and pop this adjoining one off. It can get done at the same time. So I can't see any screws. I'm guessing they just pop up. Supposed to. And then they get caught just like that. Alright, so it's off. Throw it in the back. And this one's probably the same. Maybe a screw. Oh, yep, one screw there. Looks like maybe a 10, maybe an 8 up in here, so we'll get that sorted and get it off. Right, and absolutely nobody's surprised it was a 10mm, so I'm guessing that'll just come off now. Maybe not. Alright, oh, check that out. Ah, it's never been on the beach. Never been on the beach. Nah, you tell me to be on the beach, but that's a lot of sand. Well, at least this side's got less sand. And not too much rust either, I'm surprised. Nice. Well, you don't want to paint over the key light or the keyhole, so I've just taped up the whole thing. Now I'm going to run the knife around the gap, the little recess that's there. I'm hoping that turns out pretty good instead of pulling the whole thing out, so give that a crack and we'll check back. Righto, she's a bit rough, but so's the car, so that'll do. Speaking of rough, I mean, I'm not going to tape the whole windscreen up. I will need to do the hood lining, but I'm not doing it quite yet, so I'm just going to hold this board over the windscreen. I've taped one run up there, and we'll just chuck this in and spray that top edge like that, and hopefully we don't get any overspray on it. Ah, crap. So that's a run straight away. Obviously this stuff's got to go on super light. Should have known better, so I'm going to wipe that off and start again. It's going to be one of those things that I just need to have a proper go at. So I'm going to do a little bit and I'll get back to the camera and see how we're going along the way, but I'm just not going to film the whole thing. So I'm going to give it a bit of a rough go. Righto, legends. I've got 2 thin coats on there now. It seemed to have covered over most of the grey and, you know, the dirt. So it's looking heaps better. I'll give you a quick look at it. Yep, painted the steering wheel. It was a bit rough looking, so it's been sprayed. All the dash, a little bit overspray on the windscreen there. I mean, better if that didn't happen, but, you know, we'll try and clean it off. But I'm going to try and get another coat on there tonight before it gets too dark. And I might even start cleaning up some of those bits and pieces we pulled out, the vents and the switch panels and bits and pieces, the radio surround. It'll need spraying as well. Righto guys, day 2 of painting the interior of the Hilux. Come down here this morning to check out what's happened overnight. And I can tell you what I got up to. I pulled these out, your little heater and aircon indicators. They all just push out from behind. I'll show you the panel over here. So you just get in here and pop these out with your finger and they come out pretty easily. Sort of wrecks them a little bit, so maybe try and find some replacement ones. I've been looking, I can't find any. If you know where there's any, let me know. But these came up pretty good anyway. I think I'm going to paint these little textured bits silver, just to dress it up a little bit more. Yeah, come up good. Little switch panel's done. That's the one from down near the key. Turned out pretty good. So yeah, overall, it's coming along nicely. Today we're going to do the door cards and the hood lining. So that'll pretty much finish off the interior for what we're going to paint. So yeah, let's get into it. Right, so evidently I was getting a little bit ahead of myself. I've got to bust this back seat out so we can do the trim around the rear window. Because it's just going to be a pain otherwise. So lo and behold, down here, fold your back seat up, a couple of 12mm bolts, pretty unusual, not 10s, but a pair of them each side, and that should get the back seat out of the way. And yeah, then we can get on to removing these trims up here. And that should make life a hell of a lot easier for painting the hood lining as well. Righto. Now, a little bit painful, but it did come out in the end. Alright, let's see what we found. Pen? Receipts? Oh, I was wondering where they went. Yep. That's about it. A few spiders. But, yeah, let's get these trims out. Right, that's going to have a bolt through it, been for the seat belt. I can't see why this one would have a bolt. Oh, but it's under there, so. Get this one out, one on the other side, and then this trim should come out. Right, so the seat belts are 14s, the seats are 12s, and everything else is a 10 so far. Just limited toolkit's all you need to do this job, and, you know, a plastic pick or something to pull all the trims out so far. We'll recap it at the end, but minimal tools this far. Right, that is tight for a 14mm bolt. Maybe they've put a bit of thread locker on there, it's been out before, who knows, but and I need something a little bit bigger than a 3/8 ratchet to get that. Right guys, I'm not one to mess around with bolts. They either come out or they break. So this is a 900 Newton meter 3/4 inch drive DeWalt rattle gun, and it's going to get it out or break it out. No worries at all. Right, so I'm finding the best results is to go along and give everything a light dusting, like this. Get them pretty well covered, and then wait a couple of minutes, especially only a few minutes here since they're in the sun, and go and give them a thick second coat. And that seems to be enough for most of these panels. The only one I'm doing more is every time I come past this center console, I know I'm going to stick my arm on there, so I give it another coat. Right, it's a bit hard to see, but there's a little bit of orange peel in the paint there. That's where it's not quite sticking, and it's making clear patches where you can see through it. That's from there being a little bit of wax or grease, or even just oil from your skin still being on there. So you can wipe that down again, or just lay the paint up over it. It will eventually cover, but best thing to do is get your prep work right. Right, I've just taped this up. I'm just painting these textured bits on the side like I said earlier. I've got a couple of different greys there I'm going to try out and see how they go. Righto, boys and girls. Door cards are pretty easy to come off on these. One screw here, one screw down in here, and get your little tool in, pry this up, pry that up, just unclip the wires out of the back there, push them down in, and then grab the door card and just pop it up. I'll show you in a second. Right, so that screws out, that's popped up, this one's out, and then that lifts up and out. And then you should be able to just grab down the bottom somewhere. And then undo that cable. So I'm just going to go along with a lighter and burn off any of these little threads and tags of fabric hanging off, just to neaten that up to start with. Now I'm just gluing it all back down with some 406 Loctite, or essentially industrial grade super glue. That should hold it. Then I'm just going to go along with my plastic little trim knife and poke it all back in. Finally, these are filthy looking, so I'm just spraying them with some touch-up silver I've got here. Doesn't matter about overspray because we'll tape it up when we do the black. While the silver's drying, all the door cards are going to get in and tape up this rear window, the front window. Honestly, there's just a shitload of taping to go inside to paint this hood lining. It's a pretty big job, but when yours looks like this, you know, pretty gross, you know, something you just got to do. I've got the windscreen taped up. Just used a bit of butcher's paper, same as on the back, to match up with the masking tape. Well, to save a little bit of masking tape. We've popped the interior light out, taped the bulb up, and taped the circuitry. I think that's about all we're going to do for now. I'm going to put the windows down. I mean, probably tape them up if you care about the outside of your car, but I don't really care that much about mine, so a little bit of overspray is not going to faze me. Righto guys, I'm sure it doesn't come as much of a surprise to you that I'm going to paint the outside of this car as well at some stage. And it's just too good of an opportunity while I've got all the trims off, not to paint all the door liners. I'm only going to do a closed door spray job, but having all these painted and blacked out already, and then you can just touch them up once your final coat's done. If you've got any colour that comes in, it's easy, a lot easier to touch up, and you don't have to worry about any of this going out on your proper paint job when you're done. So, although that's taken up a considerable amount of time this afternoon painting these door inserts, it's going to save time in the long run. It does mean I might be putting this big pile of interior parts back in under torchlight, but we'll see how we go. Righto, that's all the inserts finally painted. Now it's time to crack on and smash these interior pieces back in, hopefully before dark. Lucky there's not too many pieces. How many is there? Oh, I don't know. Shitloads.
I'm on the bed, don't want no flowers cause they simple pain. You don't look sad anyway, wait. I see you smiling so I can't stand all of your tears cause they fake. I know what they really feel. They wouldn't know much about me. Not into fucking with all these, wait. Money don't count itself. Always be counting on what I earn. If I'm alive then I make it work. Won't get caught up with these dirty drugs. False love was all I got in this mess. Talking about how they be getting drips. Truthfully, I got lost too in the moment, but now I'm alone and atoning.
Got caught up in my head, thought way too far ahead. I don't know where I'm going.
Got caught up in my head, thought way too far ahead. I don't know where I'm going. I got this butterfly singing in my mind.